Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I had something I planned to do for an anniversary, but let me just spoil it a little bit. Just talk for 1 second. The idea is very simple. Is what if I actually started YouTube the way I should have started it? In quotations, should have started it. Because if you think about it, I made this one in 2008. I think technically I could have started in 2007. Not even 2007. I think I started in 2007. My bad. I got active in 2008, but I could have started in 2006. And if I started in 2006, it would be actually interesting. And well, I'm pretty sure Sony would have so copyrighted me real bad because 2008, you got copyrighted real badly for music, but it got better. The thing is that it's kind of unbelievable, and I'm glad it didn't happen, but the idea is simple. That I actually did a whole coverage of Spider-Man 3 from who's in Spider-Man 3, like the interesting start of beforehand, like the original draft of Sandman and Vulture, and then this interesting turn out of nowhere where he's going to do Venom, even though he hated Venom, even though that's wrong. It turns out he doesn't hate Venom. He did not know who Venom was at the time. But now, since he did, and this is in 2019, 2020, he actually did understand who Venom is, and he actually is okay with the character. Well, there you go. It's like, yeah, if you would have just waited and allow him to actually understand the character, we might have actually had an actual Venom in the movie instead of what happened here. But it's just starts and starts and starts. And oh man, can I tell you, as soon as I came back home from high school, that 2.1 was waiting for me, and I put it in there, and oh man, I think it was 7 minutes, extra 7 minutes. Some touch-ups that they did actually lean into Spider-Man 3, but still, oh man, that was amazing. It's like some new shockers. I think it was 4 minutes, so 4 to 7 minutes. Either way, it was so unbelievably good. So good. But I think it's like the bonus disc. It's like there was a bonus disc or something to where it was hyping up what would happen in Spider-Man 3. And that was like the first downfall. And I would have actually had a video, just continue with videos of like the concepts. The website got updated. No idea how it showed it. The website's updated. Shows the black suit. Oh my gosh, the black suit. Why does it look different? It's like, yeah, it looks different. This is not the black suit. What? And it's like, well, maybe it'll still have the characteristics of the black suit, even though it's like, this was when I was a teenager. And the only thing I could enjoy about the black suit back then was not Venom. Oh no, hell no. It was more the fact of I enjoyed the idea that it's a suit that can turn into any suit that you can imagine. And it can change color too, which I was like, that is awesome. But of course, as you can figure, that was only in the animated series. It never was a part of the comic book. And even Spectacular Spider-Man, who leaned towards Spider-Man 3, it decided to do the whole thing of, yeah, it's just a black shirt, or yeah, it's just black this, black that. It doesn't do what you think it does. And it's kind of sad that it doesn't do it. And it's kind of even worse where it's like, it didn't even do that in the movie. Like, for instance, it's like, oh, okay, he got a suit. He actually has a suit in the movie. It's like, so that's the black suit that turned into a black suit. An actual tailored suit. It's like, no, that's the one that he danced around in. No, he didn't do that. And I'm like, oh, this really pisses me off. It really actually angers me. Oh, man. Not to mention the fact of, like I already said, this CD album, the whole entire soundtrack, that changed. I would have mentioned that. All the way until we get there. And I think the thing is that I still don't know which CD or which disc had it, but it's like some DVD had the fact that Laura Zinskin was like, oh, well, I thought of this. I thought it was a great idea to have Harry Osborn to be the new Goblin, and I can't wait to see what we do with next. Okay, that was the worst line I ever heard. It's like, Did you guys see it already? Did you see the movie? For the love of God, I would have preferred you not saying anything. If that's to make sure that you didn't spoil it, you ruined it by saying that crap, though. Because it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, well, awesome. So his story will live on. They'll do more stuff with Harry Osborn. And as for people who already know, which everyone does know what happened to Harry, this is the worst thing that Laura said ever. This is like the worst thing. Everyone else, I was all right. It's like, yeah, it's like Sandman, Venom, and all these bad guys and stuff. And it's like, yeah, well, I would most likely, I'll still defend to this day that Sam Raimi did not actually do this crap. Yes, sabotage film, definitely, but Sam Raimi know how many villains should be in a movie. He does know. Like I found that in later years, but he does know. What? Why did I say that? Oh, the example of what happened in Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 was supposed to have Dr. Ock and the Lizard. There was supposed to be two villains in that movie, but Dr. Ock's story got so big, he could have put Lizard in there, but he decided against it because it will just be a messed up rush job for the Lizard, and it'll be a cramped movie. Now, the same director who did that did Spider-Man 3. Do you think that actually is how that happened? No. Someone else had to have done something messed the frick up, and it's true. So it's like, yeah, you can't actually blame Sam Raimi for this, because if he was really in his control, he would have definitely said no on freaking Venom. Definitely no. He most likely wouldn't have done Harry Osborn, from what I can tell. It's like, I still can tell that when it comes to even the story that he says, that, and this comes from just some little clippings, I can't really pinpoint it, but the thing is that it just keeps on getting tossed around, where it's like Sandman was going to be in Spider-Man 3, Vulture was going to be in Spider-Man 4. Or Vulture's going to be in Spider-Man 3. He was supposed to take the place of what happens with Venom. So Venom's story will actually be his story, where it's like he's just a darker version of Peter, and he has to learn about, stuff. And then Spider-Man 4 would have Sandman. That's what really supposed to happen, until I get corrected again and we have more evidence. But for right now, we're going to say that. We're going to say just that. So the messed up part of this whole entire thing has to be when I would have to return from the theater from May 4th and tell you how I don't know what to say. I mean, they killed Harry. The intro to Spider-Man 3 most likely just horrified me. Really horrified me. They played up the symbiote and it horrified me. It horrified me. Especially with the cave too. That horrified me. As for everything else, it was all good and all that. And yeah, then all of a sudden Harry is like, I remember when it came to watching Surface. It was Surface. You get an exclusive Spider-Man 3 scene. And of course we saw the one where Peter went against Harry. And also the ring. That was a good scene. That was a good scene. That was actually a pretty fun scene. And it's kind of interesting to hear from the novel, which I wouldn't know until like much, much later. But it turns out the way how he actually got him to the hospital is by actually stripping his clothes, well, some of his clothes, throwing it to the side, putting hobo clothes or clothes he got from a donation thing, and then he rushed him to the hospital. That's how that happened. And I was like, oh, it's like watching the movie, I was like, oh, so what's going to happen is now we already did Harry. Harry is now going to recover. He's going to find a girl, Liz Allen. He's going to most likely have her as a girlfriend. And Harry's just going to continue on. It's not going to be any rebound of him becoming the Goblin ever again. So it's like, oh, you guys tricked us. You tricked us. And it's like, okay, good. Trick us for now. And then actually bring him as the Hobgoblin later. So you don't actually ruin the reveal that Harry will return. He will get his memory back and he will attack. It's like, yeah, I'm fine with that. But then decide to do the love triangle, which again, Laura Zinskin threw in. But I'm just saying that I wouldn't know that until later years. For right now, it's just be like, oh my gosh. And then it's like, oh, well, this is going to be good. And then eventually he got the memory back and all this crap happened. It's like, what the frick? And Sandman's okay. Sandman being the murderer of Uncle Ben, I definitely didn't like changing that crap. That wasn't what the frick. It's like, yeah, I would most likely have a separate video talking about that. But also, I think it was fine. It's like, yeah, Sandman would have been fine. The whole Spider-Man getting hyped and everything and all that and his ego, I guess that's okay. But it's like, yeah, I just didn't really like the story of the whole thing of his downfall being like that. It's like, couldn't we have done it differently? But that one's just a minor flaw. The only messed up really part is just the whole Venom thing. It's like the fact that Venom showed up and like, oh, good Lord. And not to mention, oh my gosh, the freaking novel version is so much. I would hurt. Excuse me. I was just about to hurl because I remember what the frick happened. Ugh. Oh man, what the hell? Maybe one of these days I'll actually write the actual what happened so you can read it for yourself. And then not only I suffer for hurling, but you're going to hurl too. Unless you have a good stomach, which good for you. Let's see. It's like, yeah, all that crap. And oh yeah, I didn't even mention the fact, and I think someone already did like decades ago, but I would also have mentioned the fact that the last Spider-Man swing, the last thing that we always get every single movie, it turns out someone leaked it. Someone leaked it online. It wasn't finished, but someone leaked like some of the stuff of what will happen in the last one. And I think Sony got pissed off and basically said, go fuck yourself. We're not going to put the last swing in this. Even though I think that was like part of the one before the whole change of the scenery and stuff. It's like, yeah, I think it was before because, well, what they did to this freaking movie and Peter's relationship, I don't think he actually has he wouldn't swing. I don't think he would actually swing in this one because it ended that way where it's like, it's bittersweet. And I'm like, this is how it ends. This is how you end the movie. Like Venom's dead. That's awesome. The symbiote sample is still with Dr. Connors, so maybe he'll become the lizard. He's going to use that. That could turn into Venom. Turn into Carnage, or it goes and rebonds with Peter, and now we have part 2 of this, and it's like, oh, oof. But technically, if it's able to get all the memories of Peter, that means that he will know, the symbiote will know that all that crap that happened. He's like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. It's like, I don't know. It's like, we may never know. But to come back to the movie theater and just tell you and also make a new ending for it, which is like, I still don't like how they got rid of Harry. I just still to this day do not like it. It's supposed to be symbolic, but I'm like, this is some bullshit. Freaking damn kick him as if this is Sparta. Kick him to the side. Venom goes off to the side. He calls back his glider. Harry's still alive. Peter has to think up something. And as soon as Peter actually thinks of something, Harry will just be beside him. And as soon as he does it, there you go. He's now caged in there. And Harry will be the one who tosses him the pumpkin bomb. And he does it. There we go. And he could actually have made it so that Eddie Brock was actually held hostage, but he would be basically handled to the point of where he's not going to die this time. Harry is holding him. So Harry's holding him. Eddie can't go get the symbiote. He sees it get blown up in his own self, and he's crying and crap. And it's like, yeah, there you go. And of course, we still have the Sandman thing. But the good news is that no one died. And like I said in the previous one, we could get to the point of where it's like, maybe he did get stabbed. Okay, maybe he did get stabbed. Maybe he did get killed. But the thing is that he came back to life, and now he's healed. It's like, I don't like the fact that he had a scar on his face and crap. It's like, that was like, what the fuck? It's like, oh, so his reflexes came back and everything, but he got new reflexes, but yeah, he can't fix his damn face. It's like, this is some bullshit. So it's like, I understand that. It'd be like, oh no, if his face is okay and the glider is okay, that means that Norman Osborn is still alive. who's in the freaking damn coffin, and they unbury the coffin. It's like, oh frick. And all the times that he saw his father, it was not even him mind games. It was more the fact of he was there and he was able to project himself in any mirror he wanted to. Holy frick. Holy frick. He had speakers around the freaking place so he can talk to Harry. Holy frick. It's like, hey, that is perfect. That is wonderful. Oh man, when can I sign up to see the Green Goblin show up yet again? No, they didn't do that. And it's like, okay, fine. I'm glad he's dead, I suppose. But Harry did not have to die. And I'm pretty sure by the end of it, it's like, I even like the part of where it's like he was like very, very against Peter. And then Liz Allen is like, Peter's your friend, right? It's like, shouldn't you actually help him? Or it's like maybe Spider-Man, it's like, yeah, maybe the part of where it's like, Spider-Man came over, is like, I need your help. And it's like, oh, frick you. And it's like, you killed my father. And it's like, I did not kill your father, or something like that. Or maybe Liz Allen actually listened in and she knows that Spider-Man didn't kill his father. And since because of that, she was the person who said that, shouldn't you let it go? Do you think your father really wants you to keep this vendetta to the end of your life? You should help him. Help Spider-Man. Help save your friend that for some reason keeps on getting kidnapped. It's like, help him. Help her. I know that you're a good person. I know you're a good guy. Please. So he goes, and she actually goes down and follows him, most likely Cap. She's there, and then by the end of the movie, he's still alive. He goes down, picks her up, and they fly away. So it's like, there we go, and he's gonna hang up his tights, but still, he gets the girl. He actually saved his friendship, I suppose, and there you go. So hey, it's like, that's a better freaking ending than what we got, isn't it? As for the whole destroying of the relationship, I prefer that not to even be there. It's like, yeah, I prefer that not to even be there. Heck, we can even make it a crazy part of where, why doesn't Eddie ruin the relationship with Peter and Mary Jane? I mean, the symbiote's able to change appearances and faces, so why not allow Eddie Brock just straight up Mac on freaking Mary Jane? And is Mary Jane just falling in love with Peter even worse, even though, there's some freaking mannerisms, but still, he wrecks the relationship. And that makes it even much of a like, oh, that's better than having Harry ruin it in a 3 triangle. Or not even a triangle, it's more like a square or something, or a diamond. Either way, to have me as a teenager just straight up go on a rampage and rant and just being like, oh my goodness, I don't understand what happened to this movie. It's just so unsettling. And that is when Darkspi was created. Anyways, I'm whipping out. What do you guys think about this? Peace.